47, Parker Kennedy. Number 29, Jackson Dillon. Number 35, Jack Cash. Number 36, Ben Coggill. Number 66, Jackson Fridge. Number 77, Morgan Mellish. Number 93, Nathan Miller. The coaching staff, Pat Coyle, head coach, assistant coach Chris Gill, and Ethan Ticehurst. Time now to meet your Poco Saints. Number 55, Amani Mitten. Number 88, Ashton Brown. Number 2, Nolan Ross. Number 5, Austin Lamoureux. Number 6, Ethan Quinn. Number 8, Elise Dockstader. Number 10, Braden Lady. Number 12, Jensen Jones. Number 14, Caitlin Mander. Number 17, Ben Halliday. Number 18, Silas Richmond. Number 19, Jordan Beach. Number 20, Levi Tui. Number 23, Joel Mullen. Number 24, Jordy Neary. Number 25, Dylan Islet. Number 34, Josh Mills. Number 46, Damoni Thomas. Number 77, Andrew Cowan. And number 83, Kyron Lazor. Your head coach, Travis Cornwall. Assistant coaches, Jeff Cornwall, Ian Patterson, Jeff Shoemaker, your GM, Josh Wall, and your governor, Dave Kidd. Well, welcome down once again to the John Bailey Arena here as your Poco Saints host Coquitlam tonight. The Saints would like to respect and acknowledge that tonight's game is taking place on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territory of the Coquitlam First Nations. They continue to live in these lands and care for them, along with what waters and out that is above and below. We're going to play the Iroquois National Anthem. Please rise, remove your headgear, gentlemen, and join us. Please remain standing.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all our sons coming. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God, keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Well, they got the start they wanted in game number 1, and the finish wasn't too bad either, but it was the middle stanza which proved to be problematic for the Poco Saints. After dropping the first game of the BC Junior A Finals on Wednesday evening, the Saints return home with redemption on their minds. Welcome to BC Sports TV, ladies and gentlemen. Tino Farah here, your voice for this evening's matchup. Game number 2 of the league finals between the hometown Saints and the visiting Coquitlam Adanacs. Let's start off in the hometown crease and present you with your starting goaltender here, shall we? He was stellar in game number 1. Unfortunately, though, just could not backstop his team to a victory. It's Ashton Brown, a 4-1 record through the postseason thus far, a .767 goals against average and a .835 save percentage. They'll look to him to stand tall, as they always do. And then across the floor, his counterpart, it'll be Jack Kask, a perfect 5-0 record through their 5 playoff games thus far. A 5.43 goals against average and an .869 save percentage. And how about this? 5 assists to his name as well for one Jack Kask. He, in his own right, was sensational the other night. After a slower start in game number 1 for the Adanacs, the second period it changed around all of their fortunes, and it started in between the pipes. Again, 9-7 was your final in game number 1. And we got some lineup changes to go through as well here for the Poco Saints. Out of the lineup is Ethan Self, Luke Neary, and Hunter Meyer. Into the lineup is Joel Mullen, Damoni Thomas, and Kyron Lazor. Getting back into game action here in the postseason. Game number 2, a crucial game here for the Poco Saints if they want to force at least a game number 4. But game number 2 is on their minds as we speak, and we are underway. Bodies collide early, but the first possession will go to the Coquitlam Adanacs, and there's Cody Malowski with the first touch. The team leader in goals through 5 games thus far with 10. Malowski has the ball once again. Coming over top, takes the high pick, fake the low shot, back pedals through, gets the pass over to Favreau, who just could not quite handle it, and Jordan Meach will go the other way. Meach over center. Gets some room created by Dylan Eilert, who heads off for a change. Meach will join him shortly. Braden Lady will as well, following his pass to Lise Dockstader. And now the offense gets underway. Silas Richmond, the league leader in playoff points and goals thus far, goes to the net and tries to muscle his way through. Gets an extra shot from Turpin after. But will head off now as Coquitlam looks to go the other way on a turnover. Don't believe that was a shot on target, so no official shots just yet as Noah Manning heads up play to just roll that one into the corner to avoid the back over call. Now he waits for the return feed. That one goes high into the back of his stick, and he keeps possession. Halfway through the shot clock, Charney waits for help. In comes Malowski, quickly down to the near side corner. Ryan Colsey, skip feed over to the far side, shot by Manning, and he scores! First goal of the game goes to Coquitlam. And it's 1-0 early. Quality movement from the Adanacs, and then just an outside shot while taking some contact from Manning as he picks that one far side past Ashton Brown. And the all-important first goal of the game goes to the road team. Similar as it went in game number 1 when Poco got out to an early lead thanks to a goal from Silas Richmond. This time, the Adanacs march on to the Poco turf and return the favor. They'll look for more as Jackson Dillon gets into the mix. Late man is Malowski again. Fake shot, pulls back to the outside, over to the far side corner. Favreau wants it, gets it, spins underneath. Twister looking short side, and he scores! 2 straight goals for Coquitlam. Favreau finds the back of the net. It's a subtle move, but a massive one at that, as just that little ability to change his stick angle proves costly against the Poco goaltender. It's almost an off-handed shot, but he still has the strength of his strong hand. And finds the back of the net in the top corner now. Poco needs a response. And they need to get some shots on net here early. Just over 2 minutes into the frame. 2-0 on 2 shots for Coquitlam. Pass finds Cowan. Unable to handle it. Kask will take it away and look up. Cowan will apply a little pressure here on the forecheck, but the lob pass was deflected by Dockstader. Meach goes in behind his net to collect. Jordan Meach up the floor. Leaves for Dockstader. Stayed out for that short defensive shift. Remains out for another 0-1. Down to the corner. Fake pass. Near side feed to Finn Halliday. Muscling his way through. Spins underneath. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Halliday hounded to the outside. Skip feed over to the far side. Was picked off by Cole Kennett. Still no official shots on goal registered yet for the home team. And the Adanacs look for more. 3 minutes into the first period of game number 2, the BC Junior A Finals. Colsey leaps to collect. Parker Kennedy spins through, one hand on his stick, gets a shot off and sends it just wide. Manning gets the loose ball, cross crease pass, and Parker Kennedy was denied by Ashton Brown. Leaping and getting a quick stick off from the near side crease. Fresh 30 now for Coquitlam as Manning working on Mander. Flip pass back to the outside. Charney gets through the middle. Draws an interference call, though, does the Poco defender. That'll end that possession a little early as Charney and co will head off for a change. Now Joel Mullen finds Silas Richmond, who then finds Austin Lamoureux. The 3 players coming over the trade deadline from the Delta Islanders. Now Richmond with it. 13 to shoot. Comes over top. Has his hands free. Fake shot now over to Dockstader. Spins back to the top. Shot from distance goes just wide. That'll go off the sideboards. Finn Halliday will collect. Need a last second shot, and he does get it on target. Might have gone wide had Kask not caught it. But a shot is a shot nonetheless. And Coquitlam again looks to extend their lead. Kennedy with some room down the lane and puts it just wide. Chalmers gets a loose ball and also puts it wide. Back-to-back shots off target for Coquitlam. Now 10 to shoot. Malowski through the middle, runs into a double team. Loose ball finds Kennedy. No goal as he steps through the crease. Put it over the goal line, but the official down low waves it off. That close to a 3-0 lead. Now here's Josh Mills. Room to work with. As he comes over top. Ben Coghill forces him into an uncomfortable position. Mills, fake shot, twister of his own, shot and a save by Kask. Ben Coghill gets back into the lineup here as well for his first game of the finals. Sprints over the floor despite the back check of Josh Mills, who heads off for a change. Now Ryan Favreau on his wrong side. He'll leave down low in the corner. Charney tried to find Manning, deflected by the Poco captain, Braden Lady. Now Kennedy. From distance, a sidearm bounce shot goes wide once again. Then up into the rafters and out of play. That'll end that possession for the Adanacs. Give it right back to Poco. A high-flying first period as both teams start to settle in here. But the Saints still look for their first goal of the finals on home floor. Does Leaks Dockstader have some magic in his stick? Halliday takes a check from behind into the boards, grabs the loose ball from his feet. Under 10 to shoot. Dockstader working on Miller. Spin move, backhand feed over to Mills. Shot sent just wide over the shoulder, and the shot clock expires as Austin Lamoureux sends it down into the corner. Nothing going on that possession once again here for Poco. It's Jackson Dillon works on Meach. Meach stumbles. Dillon shoots. Brown saves. Hangs on to the rebound, now looks up the floor in transition. Nice move there to get around the first forechecker there by Jordy Neary. He'll head off for a change, joined by Jordan Meach. Now here's Kyron Lazor. Leaves for Andrew Cowan. Back to Lazor. Head up, looking near side, finds Damoni Thomas. Now back over to Lease Dockstader as the shot clock winds down to 7. Pass intended to find Richmond, just off the mark, ricochets off the corner boards, and here comes Coquitlam. Coghill and Banks go the other way. A 2-on-2 turns into a 3-on-2. It's Favreau sprinting, shooting, stopped by Brown. The transition muscles being flexed early by both teams. Joel Mullen thought about going to the net. Instead, will turn back and get the offense back out onto the floor. Mullen replaced by Richmond. Leaping to grab that pass quickly down to the corner. It's Halliday. Backhand feedback to Richmond. Couldn't get the pass into his stick, and Kask will look back up the floor. Long stretch feed, deflected down by Miller, but just out of his reach. Taken away by Jordan Meach. Meach spins away from Logan Mellish and will head off as Josh Mills takes the feed. Austin Lamoureux, late man joining, quickly finds Richmond. It's Richmond. Works his way through to the middle, spins, loses the ball on a check from Brody Kent. Silas Richmond a little slow back to his feet, but he'll head off for a change as again Kask looking for a long stretch feed. He'll settle for a shorter one to Brody Kent. Manning back out onto the floor, opened the scoring early in this period. Cody Malowski takes the feed. Back over to the far side. Charney looking for a passing lane through the middle. Finds Malowski to the outside. There's a lost glove down on the floor. As Favreau retrieves it. Malowski looking for the loose ball. Battling with two Poco defenders. The shot clock will expire. It's been a lot less of a chippy start to this one in comparison to game number one. Reminder, both these teams are into the Minto Cup. They booked their tickets by making their way to the BC Finals. But bragging rights still on the line as Finn Halliday goes around Kask, but denied by the glove. What a save by Jack Kask. Another one shortly after on Richmond. And the rebound collected by Lise Dockstader. Man, oh man, what a save that was by Kask to keep this a 2-0 lead. Now Richmond couldn't take that one cleanly. Loose ball falls to Ty Banks, the Coquitlam captain. Had 2 goals in game number one and some massive collisions as he does so often. This time he'll head back off for a change and get the offense onto the floor with Chalmers coming over top. Hands free, shot, a bouncer stopped by Brown, and he'll leave the ball for Lady to collect. Braden Lady leaves forward to Moni Thomas. Quickly to Kyron Lazor. Waits for the motion to get underway as they do now. Austin Lamoureux quickly to Finn Halliday. Halliday working on Mellish. Forced to the corner. Stumbles, keeps his footing though. His pass was deflected. Lamoureux grabs the loose ball. Spinning shot just off the mark. Might have caught a piece of a defender. Now Lamoureux with a last second shot sent just wide as the shot clock expired. Coquitlam will take possession on their own side of center. Shots are 6-4 early as we approach the midway mark of this first period of game number 2. David Charney waiting for the screen for Manning. Uses that space. Leaves for Colsey, the late man, joining. Now Parker Kennedy. Back to Charney. Swim move. Working on Neary. Backhand feed over to Manning. What a pass. What a shot. Sent just wide again as Manning was tackled down to the crease. And the Saints will go back the other way. There's that chemistry built between David Charney and Noah Manning. They've become a bit of a dynamic duo on the offensive side since Manning joined the Adanacs just ahead of the deadline. Now Richmond stopped by the other glove this time of Jack Kask. Richmond applies a little bit of forechecking pressure, but Coquitlam breaks free of it nonetheless. Banks instructing Dylan to drive to create some space. Fake shot there by the Coquitlam captain. He then leaves it for Cody Malowski and heads off for a change, as will Josh Mills, who is stuck for a defensive shift. Now bobbled pass as Jackson Dillon accidentally left it at his feet. Jordan Meach goes the other way, working with Dylan Eilert, creating space. Shot and a save there by Kask. Loose ball collected by Miller. He's got a man up in Mellish. He's going to take it himself. Now Ben Coghill through the middle, back over to the far side. Nice move by Miller. Shot and a save. The rebound falls down to the feet of Ashton Brown as he fell backwards as well, but held it off the goal line. 9 minutes remain here in period number 1. It was a fast start but slowing down since Coquitlam made it 2-0. Now Lazor from distance over to Richmond. Back to the middle. Damoni Thomas stopped by Kask. Second chance and another save by Kask. Richmond looking for Rue shot and a third save by Jack Kask and a fourth shot by Finn Halliday. Finally beats the Coquitlam goaltender, and Poco is on the board. What a sequence from Jack Kask as he just refused to give up until he was just finally out of position following 3 straight saves. And I believe it was Finn Halliday, yes, got dumped down to the turf for his efforts. But he got his team onto the scoreboard, and those are the extra efforts that matter most when you've made it to the finals. Now here's Jackson Fridge following a face-off win by Nathan Miller. Fridge sends a bouncer over to Parker Kennedy, then heads off for a change. He'll be replaced by Ryan Colsey. As David Charney over to Colsey. Bobbled the pass, and Ashton Brown takes it away. Poco now leading in shots after that last flurry, 9-7. Again, they got 4 straight shots from basically right on top of the crease before they could finally solve Jack Kask. Now Lamoureux drives low, shot around a defender, and Kask keeps it between his legs. Looked behind him for a moment, but it was between his feet. Jackson Dillon. Watched by Meach. Nice move by Dillon. Gets to the top. Leaving now for Kennedy. Swing pass back over to Chalmers. Dillon creates space. Chalmers uses it. Sends a swing pass down to the near side corner. Back to the righties. Dillon shot around a defender. Stopped by Brown. Quick pass up to his right. And we've now got a penalty coming up. Looks like Ryan Favreau will be heading to the sin bin, and Poco will get their first chance on the power play. The Bottom Line View is YouTube's best source for up-to-date NFL coverage. With new videos daily, host Mitch Milani will get you locked in ahead of the start of the upcoming NFL season. Subscribe, like, follow, and become a member on the channel. So the Poco power play was pretty lethal in game number 1. 3 for 5 and 46% in the postseason thus far. Now Richmond has his shot blocked by a defender out of play. No, they'll say friendly fire as that deflects off of a Poco player and then into the netting. So Ryan Favreau watches on from afar as his team looks for a big penalty kill here in the middle stages of this first frame. Manning watched by Mander and Lady, the NLL duo, closing the gap. They do get a shot off, and Colsey denied by Brown. He thinks that went over the goal line. Maybe we can take a look at that in a few moments as he had a word with the official. But the call on the floor is no goal. And Poco goes back to work on the man advantage. Richmond over to the far side, shot by Mills, sent just wide. Lamoureux gets the rebound. Dockstader gets the shot off, but had his hands tied up by Cole Kennett. A great defensive play, but a better forecheck here by Poco. Richmond was all alone in the middle, but Dockstader just couldn't quite find him in time. They do keep possession and get the reset. Mills from the perimeter. Cowan will join late here. So there's 35 seconds remaining in the Poco power play. Low shot, a rising subber by Richmond. Goes right into the chest of Kask, bobbled it. But out of danger now, Malowski on a breakout feed, on a breakaway short-hand, and Malowski robbed by Brown. Back the other way we go. 15 seconds until Ryan Favreau rejoins the action. The Poco power play likely will not shoot until he returns to the action. Don't want to send a player going with a fast break opportunity the other way. Pass was just off the mark. Dockstader takes it off the end boards. Favreau's going to go right into the offensive zone as the late shot goes on target. Kask shuts the door, and Coquitlam will take possession back. Favreau parked in the near side corner. Malowski comes in to join him as David Charney brings it into the action. Kennedy takes the feed, back to the outside. Charney over to Chalmers, bobbled it, takes it off the turf. Shot clock down to 13. Chalmers with room, fake shot down to Charney. He gets through in a big collision, but a delayed call coming up against Poco as Charney takes another high check. Another one from Mullen as Neary is just sending Charney to the ground here with some extra shots, and I believe he's going to be the one heading off to the penalty box. Joel Mullen is also walking in that direction. And it looks like Mullen will be the only one getting the penalty here. Ultimate Barber Supply. Great customer service combined with a fast, streamlined shipping ensures our products get to customers as quickly and efficiently as possible. At Ultimate Barbershop, this is our lifestyle, our culture. We're here to share this passion with our fellow barbers. So onto the power play go the Adanacs. Their first opportunity of the game. Manning over to Colsey. Return feed to him, now down low to the corner as Malowski looks for a feed back to the far side to the middle. Charney stopped by Brown. Fresh 30 for Coquitlam. Manning to Colsey. Back to Manning. Gets the screen, fake shot. Now a low one, stopped by Brown, and the rebound goes over to the far side corner this time. Again, a reset for Coquitlam. Closing in here on the power play. Manning down low. Malowski reaching around a defender into the stick of Brown. Malowski takes a high check there. And now Levi Tui is going to head to the sin bin, putting Coquitlam on a 5-on-3. Rycor Construction has been providing quality craftsmanship to the Lower Mainland for over 15 years. Specializing in residential renovations, anything from a kitchen or bathroom makeover to a full home renovation. They're family owned and operated and pride themselves on an exceptional client experience. So back to work on the power play here with the extra attacker. Go the Adanacs, but they leave Ty Banks near the restraining line for safety. No look pass. Colsey looking for a bouncer between the legs, and Brown falling back on it with a little help from a defender. Pulls that off the goal line thanks to the efforts of Dylan Eilert. Now that pass intended to find Kalen Mander in the offensive zone was just off the mark. He'll head back for another defensive shift. Finn Halliday sprints off the floor to get the third defender in Braden Lady on. 34 seconds remaining in the original penalty to Joel Mullen. Malowski from the corner. They work it around the perimeter. Jackson Dillon gets through to the crease. A shot off. Sent just wide. Shot clock down to 5. Colsey from distance. Manning down low. Dillon to Colsey. One-timer blocked by Lady. A huge block by the Poco captain. Now Kalen Mander goes the other way. Watched on by the Coquitlam captain and Ty Banks. Under 3 minutes remain now in the opening frame. Shots 13-12 in favor of Coquitlam. Richmond watched on by 2 Coquitlam defenders. Tries to split. Loses the ball for his efforts. Continues to battle for it, though, as the shot clock goes farther and farther, but Richmond doing a great job of killing clock. We're now 5-on-4 as Mullins out of the box, and 25 seconds away from Levi Tui stepping back out onto the turf. Colsey down to Malowski. Fake shot through the middle, back to the point. Manning over to Colsey once again. Pass was deflected by Braden Lady, up and out of play. So Coquitlam gets a fresh 30 remaining here on the power play. Colsey with it. Down to Malowski. Back up top to Colsey, now to the point. Colsey to Manning. Tui out of the box. Quickly back into the action. We return to 5-on-5 as Jackson Dillon rounds the corner. Sidearm feed finds Malowski. Sidesteps Braden Lady. Now to the near side again as Colsey tries a toe drag. Drop pass over to David Charney on his wrong side. Back over to his right now. Manning gets the screen, loses possession. And a huge penalty kill there by the Poco Saints. An extended 5-on-3. They kill the entire thing and now go back to work on the offensive side. 5-on-5. That could be a huge momentum builder for the home team, especially if they can go back to work here. As Halliday dragged down to the ground, takes a couple extra slashes. He's going to draw a penalty. Ashton Brown to the bench. 5 on the shot clock. Mills from distance shoots, stopped by Kask. Mellish collects. And I believe it's going to be Connor Knock heading to the penalty box. Yes, He will make his way there now. Extreme Threads is the official uniform supplier for the WLA and teams around the world. Your one-stop shop for customized team or company apparel, embroidery, screen printing, designs, and sublimated uniforms. ExtremeThreads.ca. We paid all of our bills here in the first period. Unbelievable. Tidy piece of work here, ladies and gentlemen. If I can pat myself on the back. Ourselves on the back. So second chance in the power play here for Poco. They were unsuccessful on the first. Backhand feed from Lamoureux was deflected, but kept by Poco. Shot. Mills stopped by Kask. Now with 50 seconds remaining in the first period. Long pass up the floor. Mills took a whack at Ty Banks to take away his chance. Poco takes possession right back. Game clock winds down to 35 seconds. So unless they are successful in what might be their final offensive possession of the period, there will be power play extending into the second. Underhand feed over the far side, collected by Mills off the boards. Backhand feed, return to Mills. Low shot, blocked before it got through. 5 seconds remain on the shot clock. Richmond, watch from distance, down low, one-timer! Stopped by Kask, and they grab possession back. 10 seconds remain. Richmond with another low shot, big rebound available, grabbed by the Coquitlam captain. Richmond was dumped as the ball got sent all the way down the floor, and that will wind down the opening period of game number 2. What a start it's been here, folks. A low-scoring opening 20 minutes, and it is the road team with a 2-1 advantage heading towards the intermission. We're going to step aside for the time being, but don't go too far, folks. We're going to be back in about 10 minutes' time with second period action right around the corner. You're watching Poco Saints Junior A Lacrosse live on BC Sports TV. Well, we're back, ladies and gentlemen, live from the John Bailey Arena. It's game number 2 of the BC Junior A Finals, and it is the Coquitlam Adanacs with the 1-0 series lead and the 2-1 lead through 20 minutes of action. Thought it was going to be a high-flying offensive first period based on the way things started off for the Adanacs, up 2-0 early with goals from Noah Manning and Ryan Favreau. But then defense and goaltending took over until finally Finn Halliday was able to find the back of the net for his Poco Saints after a flurry of saves from Jack Kask, who was, I have to add, pretty unbelievable in period number 1. A couple of glove saves with either glove. Don't expect much less from Jack Kask. But it is the Poco Saints who remain on the power play for the next 35 seconds here. And it is the Coquitlam Adanacs with the first possession of period number 2. About a 15-second difference between the shot clock and the remaining penalty to Connor Knock as Manning takes an early shot. Going high and wide, loose ball falls down to the feet of Cody Malowski, who just has to drop it down. Braden Lady, right place, right time, just caught it. That could have been argued towards a delay of game call had it gone past the Poco captain. But he takes it back up the floor nonetheless, and Connor Knock will come back into the action. As Mills finds Richmond. Fake pass now through the middle, intended for Dockstader, just off the mark. Now a tough bounce off the sideboards, eludes Andrew Cowan, and Coquitlam will take possession back. Cole Kennett. Low pass over to the far side. Jackson Fridge watched on by Nolan Ross. Fridge will head off for a change after leaving for Ryan Favreau. Takes his angle over to the far side. Now Noah Manning collects quickly over to Jackson Dillon. Shot high and wide again. Rebound ricochets back into the crease, and Brown will take it away. Mullen, nice move to get around the forechecker. As Jensen Jones will bring it into the offensive zone, leaving for Austin Lamoureux. Rest of the offense gets on late. Low shot stopped by Kask. Lamoureux gets his own rebound. Fresh 30 here for Poco as Mills takes it near the restraining line. Favreau stuck for a defensive shift. Far side feed. Thomas down low. Lamoureux dumped down to the turf. What a hit. As Lamoureux is in a tough position, still got a shot off, but got sent down to the turf. Now Kyron Lazor. Shovel feed. Lamoureux lost it in his windup. Keeps after it and eventually collected by the vacuum Brody Kent. Goes the full length of the floor. He's got Ben Coghill with him. He'll send it to him near the point. Coghill then retreats and leaves for Malowski waiting along the far sideboards. Manning wants the feed, not going to get it as the defender comes in to meet him. Now Charney takes it, returns it down low to the corner. Manning, 10 to shoot. Flip pass through the middle. Dillon had a man on his back, couldn't take the pass cleanly, and Poco will take it right back themselves. Mander. Watched on quickly by Logan Mellish. Mander has his pass to Damoni Thomas deflected, but still finds him nonetheless. Now Richmond with a spin move to the outside. Kyron Lazor down to the corner, shot clock under 10. It's Mills, spins, watched on by Miller, gets a shot off and rings iron. Someone goes all the way over to the far side. Now an odd man rush shaping up for Coquitlam as Ty Banks gets around his man, gets a shot off, stopped by Brown. Big rebound goes to the corner. Chalmers takes his space, lobs one to Charney at the perimeter. As Banks just now gets back onto the bench, he's replaced by Manning. Chalmers comes over top. Jackson Dillon broke his stick. He'll head off. Excuse me, that was Noah Manning who broke it. Dillon now onto the floor. Works his way through, gets a shot off, stopped by Brown. Rebound falls to Charney. Fresh 30 for Coquitlam as Chalmers collects. Some tired Poco defenders on the floor currently. Favreau driving low on Levi Tui. Silas Richmond still out on defense here. Coquitlam likely will look to attack him. Sees the lone defender on Parker Kennedy. Now pass finds Chalmers. Spins back. Shot clock under 10. Dillon to Favreau. Shot stopped by Brown. Rebound again collected by David Charney. What an offensive set here for Coquitlam as they continue to change some of their offensive players here. Get some fresh legs on with those exhausted Poco defenders. Now Chalmers spins away, far side feed to Colsey. Back to Malowski, 10 to shoot, down to the corner. Kennedy rounds the corner, looks through the middle. Malowski, who had it just out of his reach. Chalmers takes the rebound, 3 to shoot, gets it off, and Brown squeezes it into his midsection and changes that possession in favor of his team. Defenders can get a break now as the offense looks to answer back, still down by 1. Lazor to Dockstader, 15 on the shot clock. Dockstader driving low, backhand feed, finds Cowan, stopped by the shoulder of Kask. Rebound goes to Logan Mellish. Watched on by Lazor. Mellish, one hand on his stick, takes his space. Wrap feed over to Turpin. Mellish had it returned back to him. Deflects it over the corner. Now Fridge also in the offensive zone. Fake shot, he'll backpedal away. It's almost a full defensive offensive shift here for Coquitlam. I believe it is entirely defensive players in the offensive zone as Reed takes a shot around a corner, takes a hit as he got the shot off. And it looks like Poco's going to head back to the sin bin here as Ethan Quinn will be called. The Bottom Line View is YouTube's best source for up-to-date NFL coverage. With new videos daily, host Mitch Milani will get you locked in ahead of the start of the upcoming National Football League season. Subscribe, like, follow, and become a member on the channel. So back to the power play, the Adanacs will go. They had an extended 5-on-3 in the first period, which Poco was able to successfully kill to keep this a one-goal game. Now Malowski tries a toe drag under Dylan Eilert, forced to the outside. Manning from the point, low shot, stopped by Brown, and he'll hang on to the loose ball. As Levi Tui gets over center. Watched on by Miller, pass taken away by Brody Kent. Finn Halliday gets physical with him as those two fall down, but it turns into a 3-on-1 the other way. Malowski has his shot deflected. Kalen Mander came in to close the gap. Coquitlam keeps possession. 20 on the shot clock. 1:10 remaining in the penalty to Ethan Quinn. So the power play unit gets back out on now. Through the middle. Dylan couldn't take it cleanly as that one went off the stick of a defender. Now Neary closes the gap on Colsey in the corner. Continues to battle for it and successfully eats the rest of that clock. Now there's going to be a cross-checking penalty. Looks like coming up against Poco. It'll be the captain, Braden Lady. Ultimate Barber Supply. Great customer service combined with fast, streamlined shipping ensures our products get to customers as quickly and efficiently as possible. It's a lifestyle at Ultimate Barber Supply. And now the second 5-on-3 here in favor of Coquitlam. As Dylan to Colsey, quickly down to the corner. They go cross squeeze again. Malowski looking low on Brown, who shuts the door. He'll just leave for a defender. Malowski on the forecheck, joined by Manning. But Dylan Eilert streaking through, now turns into a fast break here as Richmond. Reverse backhand blocked by Turpin. What an attempt by Silas Richmond. But can't get it through, and he'll head off for a change to get the third defender onto the floor. It will be Jordy Neary. He and Jensen Jones play high. Cross crease feed and a shot by Dylan, stopped again by Brown. It's really settled in after the early goals by Coquitlam. Backhand feed and they score! What a goal by Coquitlam as they extend that lead. Believe it was Ryan Colsey with the finish. Unbelievable stuff by the product from the University of Virginia. Look at that. Not even facing the net when he gets it off and finds far side past Ashton Brown. for, at the very least, goal of the night so far, but they get another opportunity going to the net, stopped by Brown. And we return now to 5-on-5 lacrosse as the Saints again look for an answer back. Halliday watched on by Fridge. The lefties of the Saints will now go to work. Mills, backhand feed over to Dockstader, kept to the perimeter. Working with Cowan, now to Mills. Driving, shot stopped by Kask. A softer one into the midsection allows the Coquitlam netminder to send it all the way up the floor, but out of the reach of Fridge, and the Saints will take it right back. Austin Lamoureux back into the offensive zone. From distance, near side, Dockstader, a low shot looking far side, sent just wide. And now Logan Mellish is going to chase it down. Opportunity here for a fast break. He's got a man draped all over him in Lamoureux. Continuing the stick check, but Logan Mellish shows off his hands to get away from his forechecker. Now Dillon, late man joining, gets a shot off and rings it off the post. That one goes out of play, and Coquitlam will collect the fresh 30. A snipe from Jackson Dillon. That close to making this a 4-1 game. Now Kennedy goes into the zone as Richmond was stuck for another defensive shift but draws an interference call. Reaching for it and keeps possession for his team as the pass was almost out of his reach. But if it's near him, Richmond will collect. Mills now looks far side, just off the mark. Finn Halliday collects. Shot clock down to 10. Halliday muscling his way through Kent, still with possession. Backhand shot of his own, stopped by Kask. Loose ball collected by Mills, but he can't hang on to it as Kask takes it from inside of his crease and sends it up the floor. Nathan Miller finds Colsey. Splits a couple of defenders, lost the ball in the process. Now Joel Mullen with Colsey on his back. Back into the offensive zone. Lease Dockstader screaming for Mullen to slow it down, which he does, leaving for his captain. In comes Lamoureux. To Lazor, back over to the far side. Late man joining will be Richmond. Richmond from his wrong side. Shot just wide as Kask bit on the early fake. There was room available, but Richmond just could not quite dial it in. Now an opportunity as Chalmers goes in, puts it off the post. No, they'll just say it went just wide. They do get a chance through, and they score! Malowski kept after it, got the rebound, and went straight to the cage following that chance from Nathan Chalmers. He dives across and brings it back short side, and the lead is 4-1. 11th goal of the postseason for Cody Malowski. A category he leads for his team. And if you look at the league leaders here in the postseason so far, offensively, it's led by almost exclusively Poco Saints. But then you go down to the goaltending category, and it's Jack Kask across the board in terms of goals against, save percentage, wins, you name it. And that's been the difference thus far, with just one goal allowed to this point. Nice move by Manning, lost possession as it fell to his feet. Mander ties him up and eats the rest of that shot clock. Now Braden Lady will take it away. Lady, watched on by Fridge. Damoni Thomas takes, looking for a passing lane, still watched on by Fridge, eventually finds Richmond far side. Now Lazor to Dockstader, 10 to shoot. Dockstader's watched on by Miller. Mills tries to fake the shot, taken away by Connor Knock. Now Richmond, his pass through the middle, taken away by Miller just before the shot clock expires. And Fridge takes it back into the offensive zone. The defense of the Adanacs has been the difference in this period. Poco has just been unable to get through to the middle of the floor to this point. So hard to find a passing lane now with Charney spinning away. 10 to shoot. Far side feed. Kennedy going downhill, runs into a bit of a double team as Meach puts him in a tough spot. Gets a shot off still, working his way through to the crease. And Meach sends Kennedy back down to the turf with a late shot. No penalty on the play, but Poco gets out of the defensive zone. In comes Lamoureux. 8 minutes remain here in period number 2 of game number 2. Lazor draws a switch defensively. Turpin eventually gets back onto him. Now near side, Dockstader drives underneath on Mellish, gets a shot off looking 5-hole. He scores, but no goal. There's a late interference call as Ben Coghill was dumped down to the turf. That close to Poco cutting the lead back down to 2. Instead, here come the Adanacs. Chalmers had a lane to the net. Instead, pulls out, gets the rest of the offense back on with half of the shot clock remaining. Colsey, fake shot. Dillon now goes to the near side as Chalmers winding up on his defender. Kept to the outside, leaves for Charney. Bobbled it, takes it off the turf. 3 to shoot. Charney muscling his way through, gets a shot off, and can't put it on target. He shares some words with Ethan Quinn. They both head off to their respective benches, and Poco once again escapes the defensive zone. Here's Mills. Watched by Turpin. Far side feed to Richmond. Richmond driving to the crease. Takes it behind, tries a dunk, puts it towards the goal, but Kask takes it away. Again, the Coquitlam goaltender doing everything in his power to keep that number 1 in the goal column in favor of Poco. Unbelievable stuff. Now Dillon off the bench gets around with a twister shot and a save by Brown. Jack Kask just continues to steal the show. As Lamoureux forced to the high check to the head in the corner. There's going to be a penalty here, at the very least 2 minutes, but that one looked ugly as Austin Lamoureux is just back to his knees, but there was a lot of head contact there in the corner. And we'll see what the call will be. It's going to be roughing, to Cole Kennett. And the Poco fans in the building are voicing their displeasure now. But Austin Lamoureux is back to his feet and remains on the power play. So the most important thing is that he's not too shaken up. Of course, something we will monitor here as Mills takes the feed high off his stick, and that'll send Ty Banks on a breakaway, shorthanded. Banks in alone, stopped by Brown. And then ran through the crease following his shot. That'll give possession back to Poco. This could be a massive a massive power play here for Poco if they are able to find the back of the net. They've just been unsuccessful here on the offensive side to this point. That shot goes cleanly out of play after the bounce. Kask will send it up to Fridge. 1:15 remains in the penalty to Cole Kennett. Now Malowski, watched on by Quinn. Former teammates earlier this season, the Langley Thunder. Malowski lost it but keeps after it behind the net. Draws a triple team, eventually lost it again, still at his feet. Malowski doing a great job of eating clock. But Meach sends it up the floor to Dylan Levi Tui. Heads off for a change. 5 minutes remain in the second period. 35 seconds remain in the Poco power play. It's Richmond to Mills. Over to the far side, his pass picked off by Knock. And he's going to sprint the floor now, watched on by Richmond. Knock gets around him, avoids the stick check. Nice move to get away, lost the ball in the process. 3 defenders coming to close the gap, and eventually Jensen Jones will take it away and lob one cross floor to Austin Lamoureux. Now just 10 seconds remain until Cole Kennett steps back out into game action. Cowan to Richmond. Takes a quick look back as Kennett now steps back out onto the floor. Mills to Richmond. Back to Mills. Low shot stopped by Kask. And Ty Banks reaching for it, unable to beat the reach of Josh Mills, who keeps possession for Poco. Now Dockstader driving through, gets a shot off. Huge contact there with Kask, as that's been a bit of a rivalry throughout this season between Jack Kask and Lise Dockstader. So those two collide once again, but the Coquitlam netminder holds it over the goal line. And Coquitlam will go back to work offensively, 5-on-5. Chalmers, watched on by Lady, sends it to Ryan Favreau. Big shot, low save, where is it? Goes out the other side as Brown lost it for a moment, but sends it away from danger, and a quick pass up the floor to Jordan Meach. Meach to Thomas. Shots are now 30-23 in favor of Coquitlam as Lamoureux gets a shot. That went off the foot of a defender, it looked like. Robbie Turpin arguing that it hit Josh Mills, but the official disagrees, and the Saints will get a reset. Now Halliday, pass through intended for Thomas. Has to take it off the corner boards. Tied up by Reed. Damoni Thomas keeps possession, though. They get a shot off after the feed from Thomas to Lazor, but Kask gets over in time. Now Coghill stumbles. Kennett can't take it off the turf, and that'll be the 8-second count. And now another penalty, it looks like, coming up. Saw the point over to the Poco bench. So it looks like Mills is going to take his team onto the penalty kill. Rycor Construction has been providing quality craftsmanship to the Lower Mainland for over 15 years. Specializing in residential renovations, anything from a kitchen or bathroom makeover to a full home renovation. They're family owned and operated and pride themselves on an exceptional client experience. RycorConstruction.ca. So Manning's going to run point here on this power play, joined by Charney, Dillon, Colsey, and Molowski. Colsey can't take the feed cleanly, keeps after it still with 15 remaining on the shot clock. Now Dillon at the point. Pass down low. Molowski through to Charney. Couldn't get a shot off. Back over to Molowski, far side. Shot clock drops down to 5. Fake shot. Colsey steps into a rocket. That one goes wide and out of play. The penalty kill of the Saints has been a strong point in the game thus far. So we look back to that 5-on-3 kill that they were successful in the first period. They had another kill earlier in this period. But it's getting to the point where they need goals rather than kills. As Richmond works through, takes a high stick, and he's going to draw a penalty here as a Poco defender got one under his mask. And we'll see, I believe it's going to be Logan Mellish heading off to the sin bin here. And it'll be a slashing call with 1:08 remaining in the original penalty to Josh Mills and 2:12 remaining in the second period. So 4-on-4 lacrosse will ensue. Silas Richmond remains on the floor after drawing that one. And when there's more room available, that very much so favors players like Silas Richmond. Knock lobs that one towards Jackson Fridge, waiting near center. Molowski gets back into the mix. Voids a stick check from Ethan Quinn. Waits for the rest of his offensive teammates to join him as they do now. Shot clock down to 10. Game clock down to 1:40. Colsey comes over top. Fake shot under Lady. Shot goes off the knee of Ashton Brown and out of play. So a fresh 30 now for Coquitlam. The rough stuff continues here between Ethan Quinn and Ryan Colsey. Those two mix it up in front of the Poco net. Now a long pass finds Richmond. Goes over top, can't quite get past Banks. What a matchup that is between Richmond and Banks. Now Richmond dives across, takes a hit as well from Kask for his efforts. But an unbelievable effort there from Silas Richmond. Again, there is no spot where Silas Richmond is unable to find a lane to the net. Now Mills out of the box. He's going to sneak into the offensive zone. Coquitlam keeps possession. 10 seconds remain on the shot clock. That one lobbed off the back of the shoulder of Ashton Brown. Poco sprinting the floor. 43 seconds remain in the period. 30 seconds remain in the penalty to Logan Mellish. So a late power play here for the Saints, looking for just their second goal of the game. Lamoureux to Richmond. Now Mills, 10 to shoot. Fakes the pass, comes back over top. Far side feed. Richmond, pass over to Dockstader. Goes off a defender, falls in front of the crease of Jack Cass. Coquitlam doesn't want to touch it to get the shot clock to expire. Now they'll take possession, and Coquitlam will call timeout with 16.6 remaining in the second period and 5 seconds remaining until Logan Mellish can rejoin. Reminder as well to everybody here to give us a follow across all of our socials at BC Sports TV, Twitter, Instagram. Follow us here on YouTube as well. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that little bell icon if you want a notification every time we go live. And if you want to be interactive on the stream as well, you can throw me a follow on Twitter at Ferratino, on Instagram at Tino Ferra. Or send us a message on the BC Sports TV account as well. I'm sure our fearless leader, Keith Gagne, would love to know where you're watching from. Or let him know if I mispronounce any names. Hopefully by now I'm not. But again, a huge thank you to everybody who's been joining us all summer long, where we've been bringing you lacrosse of the free variety live from the John Bailey Arena for the past handful of months. And if there is a game number 4 in this series, we will do more of the same. But right now, we got to get through game number 2 and the final 7 seconds of this period. Now down to 5. Jackson Dillon onto the floor. Gets a shot off, and Brown stops that one with one final save to close out the second period. No goals on the board through the middle stanza here for the Poco Saints after just one in the first period, courtesy of Finn Halliday. But Coquitlam, a stranglehold on this game with 20 more minutes to go. We're going to head towards the intermission, though, ladies and gentlemen. Again, don't go too far. In about 10 minutes' time, we're going to be back for the third and final frame of game number 2. You're watching the BC Junior A Finals. You're watching Poco Saints Junior A Lacrosse live on BC Sports TV. Georgie, I'm going to say it. Georgie, I'm going to say it. 20 miles, 20 smiles, baby. That's right. Welcome back to BC Sports TV. Welcome back to the John Bailey Arena. And welcome back to game number 2 of the BC Junior A League Finals between the two BC teams that have booked their tickets to the Minto Cup, but will continue to battle for league championship and bragging rights, of course. Which is the most important thing, of course, that's up for debate. A trophy or bragging rights, we will see. But regardless, it is the hometown team currently down 4-1 through 40 minutes of action and just 20 minutes remain. I should say, unless there is some extra frames added, depending on how the game goes. Shout out to the person who did send us the message. I did ask for messages in case I make a mistake. And that's right, we could see extra frames. We will see. But for now, we got a third period to get to. And it is the Coquitlam Adanacs grabbing first possession following the opening face-off, something they've done, I believe, on every opening draw to start off the periods here throughout game number 2. But eventually, Poco takes possession back, and then they give it right back as Cole Kennett gets an early shot off and a stick save by Brown. A quick test, just 25 seconds into the third period. And now Poco with a little bit of trouble clearing the zone. And they will have to stay for a defensive shift as they are unable to clear the zone before that 8-second count. And essentially, they just give it right back to the Adanacs. Still nursing their 3-goal lead. Chalmers to Favreau. Favreau with the second goal of the game back in the first period. Now Joel Mullen defending without a stick currently as he kicks the ball away from Parker Kennedy, lobbed into the floor. Neary throws a body as the shot clock starts to wind its way down. Now down to 2 seconds, and both teams refusing to pick it up here, just letting the clock expire. Now Poco will likely clear the zone as Jordan Meach sprints over the center line. Coghill with some early pressure on Josh Mills, who gets away. Mills now with possession once again. Shot clock down to 15. Mills gets the screen from Cowan. Now far side feed to Halliday. Halliday, one-hand flip. Low shot and a goal by Silas Richmond. A minute and a half into period number 3. And Poco finally gets themselves back on the board. It's the two-man game between Halliday and Richmond, and it's that slightly altered stick position of Silas Richmond. Starts off looking like it's going to be a sidearm rip and then pulls it back over his shoulder. Again, just changing that angle a little bit, and it makes all the difference. And for the first time since the first period, the Saints have found the back of the net, courtesy of Silas Richmond. Now they go back to work. Richmond right back out on the turf, joined by Mills. Mills returns it to Silas Richmond. Pass through the middle, twister shot stopped by Kask, and he'll hang on to the loose ball, looking up the floor and lobbing one to the captain, Ty Banks. Banks leaves for Manning. Malowski will replace his captain, getting into the mix now and having the ball sent to him. He drives low with a far side shot, stopped by Brown, and he falls backwards to keep it out of danger, leaving for Braden Lady. Now we'll see if Poco can build off of that last Richmond marker. Richmond now up to 14 goals through the postseason thus far. Shot goes through and in to the body of Jack Kask. That one coming from the stick of Lise Dockstader, who heads back onto the bench, replaced by Levi Toohey. Now Colsey deflects it and keeps after it. Down low to the corner, Malowski comes over top. Toe dragging around two defenders, tiptoes the crease. One-timer with the pass going across. Bodies collide. Malowski fired up after that one as he gives an extra shot to his defender. No call in the play either way. And Poco gets out of the zone once again. Malowski with a quick word with the trainer, but looks like he's all right on the bench. As Mills looks for a passing lane through the middle. Now Dockstader sets the screen. Mills takes the shot, shouldered aside by Kask. As Mills runs into the Coquitlam goaltender, but the Adanacs escape the zone. Banks over center. Manning sets a screen for him. Banks takes a shot. A bouncer drops between the feet of Ashton Brown, but he sends it up to Neary, clearing the zone. Little extra pace in the steps of the Poco Saints to start off this period than what we saw in period number 2. Lazor, watched on by Reed. He'll leave for Andrew Cowan. Return now to Lazor. Finn Halliday runs into a double team. Now working on Miller without a stick. Finn Halliday gets through and sends it wide. What a chance that was for Poco as Finn Halliday just could not steer it on target. Now a shovel shot, by Richmond sent wide just before the shot clock expired. Here come the Adanacs. Chalmers from the corner. Fakes using the screen, drives down low and also sends it just wide. Rebound goes off the corner boards, batted in front of the Poco bench. Mullen battling for it, comes up to it. Backhand feed over to the far side. Now Meach, one defender to beat. Gets his shoulder in, runs into a double team, and he scores! What a goal by Jordan Meach to bring his team back within one. What a way to get your first goal of the postseason as the combination of Connor Knock and Cole Kennett closed the gap. But Meach spinning and shooting all in one motion goes far side past Jack Kask. And the lead is now 4-3, less than 5 minutes into the third period. Another big collision. And looks like we're going to get a penalty here as there's an injured member of the Poco Saints down. That'll bring the trainer out onto the floor. As Banks is going to head off to the sin bin. And we will wait for the call. I can't quite see who the fallen player is, but still down on the turf, now getting helped back up by the trainer. And it looks like it is Jordy Neary, who is holding the side of his head currently. So it's going to be a 5-minute for elbowing to the Coquitlam captain. And all of a sudden, this opportunity has presented itself to the Poco Saints if they are able to take advantage of this. Again, their power play was lethal in game number 1, 3 for 5, and up to 46% coming into this game through the postseason thus far. And just a massive opportunity here, but they'll have to beat these penalty killers and, of course, the most important penalty killer, Jack Kask, who's been so strong in this game. Now Richmond, Mills, they play pass around the outside. Richmond fires and it goes over the goal line. Silas Richmond gets his second of the period and ties this game. An extended huddle following the celebration for the Poco Saints, who know how big of a goal that was. Maybe some extra words of encouragement there, as Kask got a piece of it, but it just sneaks through. Connor Knock jumping over to try to pull that one off of the goal line, but just could not quite get there in time. And 18 seconds into the 5-minute major to tie Banks, Silas Richmond gets his team back on the board. Game number 2 of the BC Finals all of a sudden became all that much more interesting. Power play back out now. There's the goal scorer, Richmond, the near side shooter position on hat trick watch here. Far side feed over to Mills. Back to Richmond. Takes the shot, scores! Silas Richmond, hat trick, and Poco takes the lead. What a turn of events as Silas Richmond picks that far side corner low past Kask. They were down 4-1 coming into this period. All of a sudden, we're less than 6 minutes in, just over 5 minutes in, And they've found themselves in front, thanks in no small part to an early hat trick here from Silas Richmond. Here they come again. So we'll return back to 5-on-5 action, but Banks will remain in the penalty box. Now Lazor muscling his way through. Backhand flip, and they score again! Josh Mills! Josh Mills doubles up on the lead! Whatever they said in the dressing room during the intermission clearly worked. Thanks as well to their power play, but all of a sudden, Poco with a 2-goal advantage after being down by 3 at the start of this period. Back up the floor they go. Still plenty of time remaining in this game number 2. But a position that they have been without to this point in this game, or at least until this point. Now a big collision as Halliday took a high hit. He's slow to get up, but Kask lobs it down the floor for Coghill to chase down. Couldn't take it cleanly. Taken back by Joel Mullen. This building is alive and well here, ladies and gentlemen. Live from the John Bailey Arena, following a flurry of goals to start off this period. Mills fakes the pass to Thomas, drives low, fakes the flip over to Lazor, now rounds the corner from down low. Mills with room, steps into a shot, sends it just wide, loose ball falls in front. Damoni Thomas battling for it, tries to kick after it, but cannot collect, and here come the Adanacs. Underhand feed goes all the way up the floor to Jordan Reed. Leaving now for Noah Manning. Manning takes his space. Favreau driving downhill, pass was just off the mark. Nolan Ross was about to take it, knocks it free. Favreau keeps after it, jumping across the crease, scores! Ryan Favreau ends the run and gets his team back on the board. That's your veteran leadership right there, ladies and gentlemen, as Ryan Favreau, the 5th year, keeps after the loose ball, takes the lane straight to the net, and deposits it home, outreaching Ashton Brown. And just like that, the run has stopped, and a little bit of life is re-injected into the Coquitlam bench. And they win another face-off here. 6-on-5 in favor of the Saints. Ryan Favreau, the latest goal scorer, is right back out there. He's got the ball now with room. Fake shot, can't get through. Now Kennedy runs into Lady. Backpedals away as Joel Mullen closes the gap. Shot clock goes down under 10 seconds. Malowski scores! And now it's the Adanacs looking for a little bit of a run here as Malowski shoots through the legs of a defender. I mentioned it a ton in game number 1. It's the Cody Malowski factor. He's just a difference maker. When your team needs one, he's often there. And again, the game just got that much more interesting. Malowski with his second. And he takes possession now, fakes the early shot, and then spins away. Swim move over Mullen. Drives to the crease, backpedals back to Favreau. Now Manning, watched on by Mander. Gets away from the perimeter check from Tui. Return now to Malowski. 5 to shoot, gets around, gets a shot off, and Ashton Brown shuts the door. Again, falling backwards to keep the rebound out of the crease. And Poco now takes possession back. Ty Banks still in the penalty box following his major penalty to start off this third period. Now Dockstader looking for Richmond. Can't find him. Now pass over to Damoni Thomas, was just off the mark. Richmond keeps after it but cannot find the loose ball as Nathan Miller eventually takes it. Excuse me, that's Brody Kent. Now a lob pass picked off by Thomas. He's got a man on his back. Got to be careful of that center line. But at least Dockstader has kept possession in favor of Poco just before Coquitlam could exit the zone. Just over 11 minutes remain here in the third period. Least Dockstader fakes the shot, looking to the near side. Thomas with room sends it wide as Mellish and Lazor get into a brief wrestling match. Mellish will head off for a change. Lazor now will as well, as Chalmers takes possession. Colsey, the late man, joining in. Chalmers takes his space, finds Malowski. Now down low. Parker Kennedy bobbled it, but kept it. Now 10 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Far side feed. Jackson Dillon gets around his man. Double team comes in. Pass to Colsey was a little bit high, but able to get a handle. Just not quite the pass that he wanted. Ended up with a shot going just wide, and the shot clock will expire. Now Dockstader over to the far side. Andrew Cowan sidestepping his way down to the corner. Thomas wants it. Thomas gets it. Back to Cowan, now near side again to Richmond. 15 to shoot. Richmond working on Jordan Reed. One-hand feed, one-timer, and they can't put it on target as Cowan took the feed. Throws an extra hit afterwards for good measure. But here come the Adanacs. Ben Coghill freshly into the lineup. Back into the offensive zone. Now he'll turn back and head off for a change as Noah Manning came in to help. Now Charney creates some space, and he's going to take an interference call and head off as Jordan Meach will take possession. Shots now 39 to 33 in favor of the road team. Under 10 minutes remaining in the third period of game number 2. Lamoureux to Richmond. Working with Halliday. Poco elects to go righty strong here. Richmond runs into a double team, keeps after it. Gets around his man, sends a pass over to Mills, who wasn't expecting it. And Coquitlam will take it back. Long stretch feed goes up the floor, and Nathan Miller will get into the offensive zone. He had a highlight reel goal in game number 1. Doesn't look like he'll have another one, at least not on this set, as he leaves for the offense and then heads off for a change, replaced by Ryan Favreau. Now Malowski, under 10 to shoot, gets that shot off just wide as he again looks through the legs of a defender. Now Charney with a last-second shot on target, and Malowski collects the loose ball. Fresh 30 for Coquitlam. Manning to Charney, who kept this possession alive a moment ago. Near side feed to Malowski. Down to the corner, Kennedy looking for a target. Shot clock winds down to about 15 seconds. Manning. Shot, saved by Brown. Manning gets his own rebound, gets through to the middle, gets a shot off, and Brown shuts the door. Unbelievable action here on both sides, folks. Again, it was 4-1 to start off this third period. Now 6-6 following a flurry of goals from Poco. They took a 2-goal lead. And then thanks to Ryan Favreau and Cody Malowski, we got tied up. Now that Dockstader shot was deflected, ends up in the corner. Halliday battling with Knock. Halliday gets it. Richmond takes the feed, shoots, and a kick save by Kask. Fresh 30 for Poco. Lamoureux, watched on by Connor Knock. Far side feed. Dockstader gets a shot off, trickles out the other side. Loose ball available as Richmond scores! Grabs the loose ball and puts it over top of a reaching Jack Kask. Silas Richmond, have yourself a period. Refusing to give up on this loose ball as Jack Kask was trying to provide some help in his own right. But Richmond just spinning and throwing it towards essentially an empty net. And he gives his team the lead once again. That's his 4th goal of the game, his 4th goal of this period. Now a delayed call coming up against Poco. Kask to the bench. Charney is the extra attacker. Now Kennedy to Charney. They start their motion. Back to the near side, Parker Kennedy. Skip feed through the middle. Charney to Chalmers. One-timer by Favreau as he got the loose ball but ran through the crease following his shot. And the save by Ashton Brown. And Coquitlam will go right back to the power play after giving up that latest Poco goal. I got to breathe here for a sec, folks, and let me fit in an ad read. Pay some more bills here. Extreme Threads is the official uniform supplier for the WLA and teams around the world. Your one-stop shop for customized team or company apparel, embroidery, screen printing, sublimated uniforms, and more. ExtremeThreads.ca. So here comes the power play of the Adanacs. Again, looking to tie the game here in the third. Malowski and Colsey play pass for a moment. Now return to Colsey and again return to Malowski, taking an extra step to the middle. Now far side, back to Colsey. Fake pass down to Malowski from the corner. 10 to shoot. Malowski, a rising shot into the chest of Brown. Charney digging for it. Loose ball falls over to the far side, and a fresh 30 now for Coquitlam. Charney wants the ball back. Now he'll backpedal away as it goes back to the perimeter. Manning comes over top of the Dillon screen. Now Colsey, fake shot. Back to the outside. Backhand flip over to Dillon. Back to Manning. Down low, Malowski. Back up top. Fake pass. Return now to Manning. Down low, cross crease. One-timer stopped by Brown. Rebound goes past Noah Manning. Kalen Mander's going to hunt after it. Takes some contact but gets over center with one hand on his stick. Keeps possession. Finds Halliday on his wrong side, but he gets into the offensive zone nonetheless and will slow things down. Finn Halliday so good at killing clock in an offensive short-handed set. He oftentimes just refuses to give up on the ball and is so hard to strip of possession. Now Richmond looking for goal number 5, steps into a shot, stick saved by Kask, and Richmond will head off to the bench with 6 minutes remaining in period number 3. Here comes the power play of Coquitlam. 25 seconds until Kyron Lazor can step back out onto the turf. Jackson Dillon joins late. Backhand feed over to Chalmers. He'll step into a shot, and Brown will step into it as well, shutting the door far side. Now Meach avoids the forechecker. Runs into Chalmers. Meach spins away, keeps possession, sends it back over to the far side. As Neary lobs one over to Dockstader, and a successful kill for Poco sends Lazor out of the box. Now a low sidearm shot by Dockstader off the mark. He'll chase it down. Lamoureux will lob it into the corner just before the shot clock expires, and that'll ricochet right to a defender. As Nathan Miller will find Noah Manning. Pass to an unsuspecting Parker Kennedy, but Colsey runs onto it and keeps possession. Now Charney, watched on by Dylan Eilert. Charney gets underneath, flip pass, ball ends up through the middle. Brown bats it. It'll go off his stick last and into the netting. He's trying to argue that it went off of a Coquitlam stick last, but the officials say no, sir, and give the ball right back to Coquitlam. Charney with a fresh 30 to work with. Malowski down to the corner. Now Colsey, one defender in front of him. He'll retreat to the outside and send it back to the far side. Manning to Kennedy. Steps into a shot off the post. Rebound falls to Colsey, and he can't take the loose ball cleanly. That close to a tie game. Now Malowski keeps after it, gets a fresh 30. Takes a whack for his efforts. Now Kennedy hit the post just a moment ago. Finds Malowski, now through. They get a shot off, a big hit afterwards, but Brown shut the door as Noah Manning a little bit shaken up, slow back to his feet, but he's back and onto the bench. My, oh my, that close to a tie game. They call it a game of inches there, Georgie. Unbelievable. Now Dockstader spins away, gets a shot off, wide. Rebound falls to Lamoureux. Muscled down, loose ball available. Finn Halliday digging for it as Lamoureux took a huge collision into the end boards. Shot clock will expire, and Coquitlam will get over center. 3:35 to play in the third period. Shots now 47-37 in favor of Coquitlam. It's Kennedy over to Dillon. Drives on Meach, gets his hands free, sends the shot just wide. Rebound out of the reach of Malowski. Kennedy looking for it. Malowski as well. Batted into the corner. Poco doesn't want to touch it. Again, a wrestling match going down in the corner as there's 2 players down. One sitting on the other as, again, those former teammates in Ethan Quinn and Cody Malowski go head-to-head. both onto their respective benches, and Poco back into the offensive zone. Cowan to the near side. Richmond back over to Lazor, through the middle. Finn Halliday shoots, Kask shuts the door, and it just trickles out the other side. He turned back and kept it out of danger, and there's that quick outlet pass over center. Another great save by Kask. Now Noah Manning back into the offensive zone. Malowski back out there as well, after the two of them were roughed up on the last shift. Now Manning makes a move, gets through, takes a shot, and Brown shuts the door. Maybe his most important save of the game so far, keeping his team in front by 1. Here comes Dockstader. Just over 2 minutes remain in game number 2. Richmond returns onto the floor, wants the ball, gets it, takes a shot, and Kask gets the glove over. Now takes a step over top of Richmond to keep him down for a moment, but Poco keeps possession. They'll slow things down here. Of course, wanting to use as much of the clock as possible. Richmond, lob pass intended to find Lamoureux, ends up falling to Josh Mills instead. Dockstader behind the net. Austin Lamoureux working on his man, gets a shot off from his wrong side. Kask shuts the door, looks up and lobs one to Ty Banks. Getting back into the action here after his lengthy shift in the penalty box. He'll head off for a change as Chalmers takes it from him. Oh, just under a minute and a half. Chalmers with room, steps into a shot, scores! Nathan Chalmers ties the game late. Ashton Brown got a huge piece of it, but it was not enough. There's just enough muscle behind that shot from Chalmers to beat the Poco goaltender. And with 1:23 remaining on their 49th shot of the game, Coquitlam once again has got things evened up. Face-off battle ensues. Ben Coghill keeping after it. Still battling, bodies collide, and Brown has seen enough and takes the loose ball himself, sending it up the floor. Approaching the final minute of action in game number 2. Neary lobs one over to the far side. Lamoureux was waiting for it and leaves for Kyron Lazor. Now in comes Richmond. Richmond still on the hunt for his 5th goal of this period. So the pass to Cowan was just off the mark, taken away by Coquitlam. 40 seconds remain. Here come the Adanacs over center. Shot from distance, swallowed by Ashton Brown, and taken away by Meach from the crease. Poco's going to use a timeout here with 30.6 exactly. Looks like there's less than a second difference between the game and shot clock. But it might come down to this. The offense gathers around the coaching staff of the Poco Saints. The defensive unit of the Adanacs does the same around their defensive coach and Ethan Ticehurst. I gotta say, George, I knew we were in for a good game, especially after game number 1, but I did not expect this, especially considering the way the game started here for Poco. The 2-0 deficit early as Coquitlam got out to such a hot start. Poco did tie it, went into the second period down by just 1 after a strong goaltending performance on either end of the floor between Ashton Brown and Jack Kask. Then Coquitlam started to pour it on in the second. It was 4-1 through 40 minutes of action. And Poco looked like they just had nothing in the tank. Then the major penalty to start off the third period was all the difference. Poco came alive. Silas Richmond dragged his team back into the fight. And all of a sudden, we have ourselves a 7-7 game with 30.6 seconds remaining. Ashton Brown on the bench. 6-on-5. Poco will go. Again, 30.6 seconds exactly remain. So the Saints will hold for one final shot. And you got to imagine Silas Richmond will be the trigger man here. So Andrew Cowan takes it from the official and walks his way over the center line. The energy and anticipation building here from the John Bailey Arena. Under 20 seconds to play. Richmond and Cowan play pass along the perimeter, watched on by Jackson Fridge. Down to 10 seconds. Now they start their motion. 6 to play. Richmond from the outside. Mills, low shot, blocked by Fridge. Gets the rebound, takes the shot, and Kask shuts the door. That will wind down the period. Kask with one last bid towards the empty net, but the buzzer had gone. And just like the message in the second intermission said there, Keith Gagne, we will have overtime from the John Bailey Arena. That's why I ask people to call me out on my mistakes, because of course they happen when I request it. We're going to step aside here for a few moments. 2 minutes is what we will step aside for. And we're going to be back in just a moment here for overtime in game number 2 of the BC Junior A Finals. At the risk of being Captain Obvious here, Georgie, I'm having fun. I'm having some fun. Are we having fun? Welcome back to BC Sports TV. Welcome back to game number 2 of the BC Junior A Finals. Welcome back to the John Bailey Arena, ladies and gentlemen. 7-7. We are all tied up through 60 minutes of action. Now heading towards overtime. It will be a 10-minute full-time period, so no sudden death here, folks, unless it extends into a second overtime, which at that point, it would be sudden death, or sudden victory, I should say. But we got the first overtime to get through here, and there's an early back over call going against Coquitlam. Coaching staff arguing that there's no back over call on a face-off win. Pat Coyle and co. not happy with that. Now Lamoureux gets in a lone shot and a great save by Jack Kask, shutting the door when it matters most and keeping this one tied at 7 here in overtime. We talked about maybe the most important save from Ashton Brown a few moments ago. How about that one from Kask? Quick pass over to the captain, far side. Ty Banks gets over the center line. Now Noah Manning back into the offensive zone. Malowski getting a rough ride off ball as the ball comes to the near side. Colsey over to Manning, watched on by Dylan Eilert. Manning, swim move, spins through to the middle. Shot stopped by Brown. He'll let it fall to his feet for Joel Mullen to collect. And he'll head towards the offensive zone as Cowan takes it from him. Coquitlam now up to 50 shots in the game, 41 for the Saints. Cowan to Richmond, watched on by Coghill. Teammates at the University of Albany. Now Lamoureux, watched on by Kent. Richmond with it again, 5 to shoot. Toe drag, drives underneath, shot, Fievel scores! Richmond's got 5! Silas Richmond has 5! The move around the defender and then the shot around the slide. Unbelievable stuff from the trade deadline acquisition for the Poco Saints in Silas Richmond. He gives his team the lead, a minute and a half here into overtime. Now Coquitlam wins the draw, struggling to grab the loose ball as it continues to be battled for. Connor Knock digging for it, eventually grabbed by Kennett. He'll dump that one into the offensive zone as Ethan Quinn and Connor Knock got into a wrestling match of their own over the center line. Knock keeps after the pressure. Tries a wrap check on Neary. Neary gets away from it. Now looking for a target, finds one in Mills. Now they can settle down their offense with under 15 on the shot clock. Dockstader with an early shot. Goes just wide. Halliday digging for it. Lamoureux will as well. Coquitlam doesn't want to touch it here. Turpin now does just before the shot clock expires, and he'll head up the floor, avoiding the first forechecker. Dockstader applies a little bit of pressure himself as he and Turpin will both head off to their respective benches. Malowski takes the feed, waiting near the restraining line. Ryan Colsey, the late man, joining in. Nathan Chalmers takes the feed back to Malowski. Now Colsey, under 10 to shoot. Comes over top, backpedals away, down to the corner. Kennedy takes a step through to the middle, finds Colsey. Away, 2 to shoot. Dillon with a low shot, stopped by Brown. It was on target in time, and Chalmers keeps after it. Coquitlam went off for a change. Chalmers kept after it and earned a fresh 30. That'll get a round of applause from his teammates on the bench, as well as the ones who come back out onto the floor after starting to facilitate the change. Now Dillon, flip pass over to Chalmers, who just could not get the handle. What a moment that would have been for him after keeping possession, but now the stretch feed was off the mark, out of the reach of Jordan Meach, and Coquitlam will take it right back. Just over 6.5 remain in the first overtime frame. Chalmers remaining on the floor. Here comes Parker Kennedy, watched on by Braden Lady. Far side feed, now skipped back over to Favreau. Watched on by the Poco captain. Favreau fakes the drive, spins back, kept to the corner. Good stick check here by Nolan Ross. Kennedy gets the shot off, sent just wide, ends up behind the net. Favreau will run some interference to stop Poco from picking it up cleanly. Shot clock will expire, and they will escape the zone. Here's Lazor leaving for Cowan. Silas Richmond, the late man, joining in. Watched on by Banks. Richmond spins away as the ball goes over to the lefties. Lazor driving down low, tiptoes the crease, blind, backhanded pass over to Cowan. Under 10 to shoot. Cowan, watched on by Reed. Pass through the middle was off the mark. Halliday will dig for it, but the shot clock will expire as he jumped. Coquitlam now will take it back with 5:40 to play. Poco leading at home in game number 2, 8-7. Trying to even up this series. Game number 3 will be Monday back at the Palace on Poirier. Favreau. Near side feed to Colsey. Favreau creates some space as the ball goes over to the righties. Now Manning looking for a pass lane. Colsey steps into a shot. Poco got a good stick check at the last second to send it off target. Broken stick out on the turf as well. And here come the Saints. 5 minutes remain. Josh Mills into the offensive zone. Pass over to his right to Lise Dockstader. Silas Richmond right back out there. Lamoureux takes the feed over to Richmond. Shoots, and a stick save by Kask as Richmond took a huge hit from Mellish. Now a lobbed pass looking for Jackson Fridge was just out of his reach. He'll continue to battle with Joel Mullen. Dockstader stayed for the shift, takes possession back. Lise Dockstader, head up, looking for a target, finds Halliday. Runs into a double team. Now into the offensive zone, forced into the corner, refuses to give up the ball. Far side feed back to the perimeter. Meach returns it to Halliday with 4:20 remaining here in overtime. Halliday looking for a lane, lobs one out of the reach of Richmond. He'll head back for the defensive shift. Coaching staff wants him to come to the bench. He'll stay at least for now to stop the fast break. Now will head off. Be replaced by a defender and Ethan Quinn. Manning watched on by Neary. Gets the screen. Manning flip pass down low. Intended to find Charney. He takes a hit from behind. That'll be an interference call. Charney will keep possession and grab a fresh 30. Charney back to the perimeter. Under 4 to play. Lefty strong here for Coquitlam. Colsey driving low, spins back from the crease. Parker Kennedy gets the shot off and scores! Parker Kennedy ties the game at 8 with 3:43 to play. He hit the post late in the third period, but he would not be denied this time as he sends one towards the goal over top of the Poco captain. Might have just unintentionally been providing a little bit of a screen, and it goes through Ashton Brown to tie this one late in overtime. Now they get another chance following the face-off, and they score again! It's the captain, Ty Banks! And he has some words for Ashton Brown afterwards as well. Captain Clutch came to play in game number 1. He took a major penalty at the start of the third period, but he has given his team the lead late here in overtime by just muscling his way through to the net. Feels like I said it so many times in the third period. I'm going to say it again right now. What a turn of events. Now Poco all of a sudden needs an answer back. It's Meach bats the loose ball back into his defensive zone. Braden Lady there to collect. And they'll head up the floor. Halliday has his hands tied up down to the turf. Somehow keeps possession as the bottom of his stick was tied up in his cage, creating kind of an uncomfortable position there, but somehow kept the ball. Now Mills drives low, looking for a target. Shot clock down to about 5 seconds. Cowan to Halliday, muscling his way through. Tough to avoid the crease, runs into the 2 defenders being Knock and Kennett. Shot clock will expire. And Coquitlam will escape the zone. Chalmers gets away from Neary. 2 defenders start to close the gap. Now near side over to Malowski. 15 to shoot. Malowski settling things down. Parker Kennedy tied this game a few moments ago ahead of the Ty Banks leading goal. Now a spinning shot, and Brown falling will keep that one underneath of him. 2:17 remain in overtime. Poco had the lead for much of this overtime frame until Coquitlam put together 2 goals back-to-back. Now Richmond, watched on by Banks, spins underneath, sends a pass through, picked off by Mellish. Under 2 to play now. Lamoureux sends Mellish down to the turf. Loose ball collected by Malowski. Shoulders his way through, pass across, Coghill scores! Ben Coghill from Cody Malowski, and the lead is up to 2. He was out of the lineup in game number 1, finds himself back in for game number 2, and he puts his team in front with the 2-goal advantage, firing one glove side past Ashton Brown. Georgie, I'm lightheaded after all these goals. Now another face-off win and an opportunity for Coquitlam, but Poco will take possession back and call timeout. Now they need some goals. 1:36 remain, down by 2. Yeah, why not? Let's pay some bills here, shall we? Ultimate Barber Supply. Great customer service combined with fast, streamlined shipping ensures our products get products to customers as quickly and efficiently as possible. At Ultimate Barbershop, this is our lifestyle and our culture. We're here to share this passion with our fellow barbers, salon owners, and retailers across Canada. And Rycor Construction. They've been providing quality craftsmanship to the Lower Mainland for over 15 years, specializing in residential renovations, anything from a kitchen or bathroom makeover to a full home renovation. They're family owned and operated and pride themselves on an exceptional client experience. RycorConstruction.ca. So 1:36 remain. Coquitlam with the 2-goal lead here in overtime in game number 2 of the BC Junior A League Finals. And the Saints will start off possession. Andrew Cowan into the offensive zone, finds Mills, now near side to Lamoureux, down low, one-timer, and Dockstader is denied by Kask. Another great look on the crease from Lise Dockstader, who heads back in a back-checking effort. Collision goes in front of the Poco bench. Connor Knock getting a rough ride with Josh Mills. They'll both be separated. And Coquitlam keeps possession. Now Manning driving on Mullen. Gets through, splits the defenders, and sends his shot just wide. Now into the final minute of action in game number 2. Josh Mills takes the feed. Back into the offensive zone. Ashton Brown onto the bench. 6-on-5 in favor of the Saints. Dockstader behind the net to Lamoureux. Now Halliday. His pass down low as Dockstader wanted the one-timer, just could not handle the pass, digging for the loose ball. Kennett forcing him into a tough position. Now Lamoureux with a low shot and a stick save by Kask. 25 seconds remain. Coquitlam can just kill the rest of this game if they so choose. The pass was off the mark, and Poco will take it right back. Mills pressured in the defensive zone, lost possession. Dylan Eilert will take it. Now game clock down to 12, and we're going to get a penalty now, an illegal substitution, and it's going to go against the Poco Saints, as I believe Dylan Eilert was supposed to have come all the way onto the bench and stepped back out onto the floor to help Josh Mills. And I believe we're going to get a penalty shot here to close out this game. I wish this were a little bit more of an exciting situation, maybe with a tie game, but at the very least, I mean, a penalty shot in overtime still is what it is. And Noah Manning is going to be the one to take it. Chance to give his team a 3-goal lead to close out the game. And Ashton Brown will try to keep it just 2 as we inch closer and closer to game number 3. But here comes number 3. Noah Manning slowly in, scores! There it is, folks. If the game wasn't already iced, it certainly is now, with Noah Manning grabbing the 3-goal advantage on the penalty shot. Make sure to give a point towards the Poco players waiting in the corner. And the jawing between the benches continues. Malowski and Lazor sharing some words. But now the Saints in a position where they need to win if they have any hope. At the very least, forcing a game number 4. What a game it was, folks, from the John Bailey Arena. Coquitlam at 1 point up 4-1 at the start of the third period until power plays came to play a factor. The Saints came alive thanks in no small part to a 5-goal effort, including overtime from Silas Richmond, but it just was not enough to take down the Adanacs, who grab on to a 2-game lead in these BC Junior A finals and have a chance to hoist some hardware on home floor on Monday evening. But we're going to step aside here, ladies and gentlemen. What a game it was for the entire cast of characters up here in the booth. For cameraman extraordinaire George Parra, I've been Tino Farah. We've been BC Sports TV, and we will see you next time.